The process of spellcasting is more or less universal. There are variations in the methodology which different cultures apply. Some individuals prefer to have a bath before they do a spellcasting, believing that it relaxes them and therefore helps the energy to flow through their body with greater ease. Others prefer a more form of symbolic cleansing, maybe walking between two lit candles, possibly engulfing their bodies in sage smoke, or indeed merely reciting a prayer which is designed to provide some kind of healing or a sense of clarity. Others prefer a banishing ritual, such as the lesser rite of pentagram, of which much has been written about and many people have talked about. In general, a spellcasting is a form of intercessionary prayer, or so it seems, and therefore has some connections with the ways in which things are done in Christianity, Judaism and Islam, as well as, of course, within the pagan religions. There is a strong overlap between all of these cultures, as they all seem to come from more or less the same kinds of roots and have inspirations from cultural overlaps as a result of writings, national conquest, history, and various different socio-political movements over time. In each case, there appears to be a period of preparation, then execution, a form of emotional climax, and then a form of winding down somehow. One of the most simple forms of spellcasting is, of course, candle magic, in which, during the execution, candles may be baptized with oils which have been fragranced with various essential oils and herbs, which are believed to have some kind of connection to the message or of the spell itself. Another form of basic spell casting requires the use of pen and paper, and symbols are drawn or invented which is believed to have some kind of connection to the message or the meaning of what is to be achieved. Some people who are followers of some religious doctrines believe that some symbols contain within them a power or meaning of some type. Some shamanic cultures might use plants or parts of animals such as bones or teeth, jaws, or possibly even dried entrails, which is also believed to have a similar connection to the message of the particular ritual. A similar way of thinking is demonstrated even in slightly more recent times in the writings of Nicholas Culpeper, where he applied astrological meanings to the various plants and herbs which he presupposed had some healing properties. And as such, this form of symbolic doctrine doesn't seem to be something one can get rid of within our society too easily. Indeed, Aleister Crowley, who was a relatively or comparatively recent occultist, compiled an entire book which was a dictionary of symbolic interconnections, which he called 777, a must-have for the experimental occultist, in my humble opinion, of course. So how would you go about spellcasting? Well, firstly you think about what it is you wish to achieve. Maybe make some notes, and then refer to your notes and find things which have some kind of similarity in meaning to that which you're trying to achieve. Let's say your intercessionary prayer or spell was for the purposes of helping you to do well in a job interview. Maybe you would choose objects, or maybe symbols and colours, which have some kind of connection to money or the generation of or receiving of wealth. Possibly the ace of coins of the tarot could be placed upon your altar. Possibly other things, a pound coin from your pocket, a dollar bill maybe. Maybe you would want some kind of symbolic representation of the sun, which is often associated with the metal gold, and therefore also wealth. During the build-up, you might want to do something such as the Wiccan circle casting, or again the lesser rite of pentagram. These things help to put you, for want of a better word, in a magical state of mind. It makes you believe for a second through some suspension of disbelief that you are following some ancient tradition, that you are doing something which is magical, that you are doing something which has some connection to the universal spiritual consciousness, and that you have some ability to affect it. This is part of the warm-up, so to speak. It gets you in the right frame of mind. It gets you thinking about the spellcasting you'll be doing. Then you can go to an area which you can designate as being your altar, which could just be your kitchen table, possibly your breakfast bar, or indeed, in some cases, a specially set aside coffee table, which you might use purely as a symbolic or temporary altar. Make it look right. Put items or objects on it which seem to have some kind of religious significance to yourself. Maybe candles, a crucifix, a pentagram like the one you see before you, or maybe tools of spiritualism such as a Ouija board, a planchette, or a crystal ball or black mirror, anything to make it seem right and feel right. Make the atmosphere even more electric by burning a bit of incense maybe, or maybe use candlelight and do it at a time of day which is magical to yourself, such as midnight, the witching hour. Maybe choose a day of the week which has some kind of significance, such as spells for love might be done on a Friday night because of its connection with Freya, or spells for inspiration might be done on a Monday night because of its connection to the moon. Some people believe in the planetary hours, which is mentioned in the lesser and greater keys of Solomon. The planetary hours are any time from dawn till dusk or from dusk till dawn, and those periods split up into 12, so it's not a reference to the form of timekeeping that we use in the modern world today, but a way of breaking up the hours of daylight or the hours of darkness into 12, and then choosing the appropriate hour or the appropriate period of time which is appropriate to what you're trying to achieve. Choose chanting, or maybe rhythmic breath, concentration, and meditation to help you to get even more into a more focused state of mind. Build up the speed of your chanting maybe. Keep your attention on the altar, on the symbols that you're using, whether it is a written sigil or whether it's maybe a handful of stones which you have painted and you manipulate on the table whilst you chant. Whatever it is, make sure you reach a state of intense concentration, shall we say, for want of a better word. It's a difficult to describe state of mind. Focused, aware, tranquil, probably in brainwave technology terms, hemispheric synchronization. A point of one-mindedness, and at that point, why not state a wish? Say, I wish to get this job, or I want my lover back, or whatever it is which is the intention behind the ritual in the first place. Once you've done this, you may want to close the ritual down. Banish the elements from the four quarters, do the lesser rite of pentagram again, blow out the candles, and turn the main lights on one more time to remind you that you're back in normality, so to speak. Put away all the ritual artifacts and clear away anything from the room that might make you think that there was some kind of magical force still present. It's often recommended that you laugh at yourself after a ritual. No, seriously. This helps you to become grounded, to stop taking yourself so seriously, and to stop trying to make the result occur during your waking hours. Allow it to occur all by itself. That's the thinking anyway. Some people say it's good to eat something after a ritual as well, because that helps to close down the chakras. Anyway, once you finish, just see what happens. Sometimes something interesting might occur before, during, or after your ritual. And sometimes there may be something more curious, which occurs in your day-to-day life, and some people would say that's due to the ritual itself working. I myself choose a more skeptical and pragmatic approach to the interpretation as to what works and what does not, but having watched some of my previous videos, you've probably gained a bit of perspective about that already. Either way, I wish you happy spellcasting, happy intercessionary prayers. Remember, these things can be done by people of all religions, or indeed none whatsoever, as long as you're someone who's got some skill at meditation, has got an interest in spiritual things, and wants to just see what happens. I personally tend to do these things just to attempt to get a strange experience. That's all. But each to their own. Remember, once you have had some kind of apparent result from the apparent spell or intercessionary prayer, I personally think it's always a bit difficult to ascribe hard and fast objective reality to what has been achieved. We don't actually know whether your prayer has actually done its work. All we know is that something strange has occurred. There may be a connection between what you've done and what seems to have occurred, but on the other hand, we still don't know. As a species, we're still learning an awful lot about consciousness, about the human brain and what it can achieve. So for the moment, just have fun, make friends online, and see how you do. God bless.